It is 3:32 on Tuesday, January 3rd. I'd like to call this Caddo Parish Commission work session in order. Mr. Clerk, could we have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Hopkins.
Here.
Commissioner Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Burrell.
Here.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Atkins.
Here.
Commissioner Chavez.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Lazarus.
Here.
And Commissioner Epperson.
Here.
You have 7 members present, and that does constitute a quorum.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Commissioner Burrell, would you be kind enough to lead us in an invocation? And Commissioner Hopkins, would you please lead us in the prayer, or pardon me, in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Well, we want to thank you for this new year. We're coming into a year which we've had a lot of things that has happened in our past year. Bless us, O Lord, that we would have a good year coming. Bless those who come in attending today, bringing their issues here. Hopefully we'll be able to resolve them as part of our responsibility to them. Bless our first responders and all those that protect this country. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Would you please join me with a hand over your heart? Those that are military, veterans, and active military, please render a proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Burrell. Thank you, Commissioner Hopkins. Mr. Clerk?
All right, today we do have 3 potential agenda additions, at least that I'm aware of, unless you have anything additional, Mr. President. But if not, you do have 3 items that are available for potential agenda additions today. Those items are a special resolution proclaiming Roy's Kids Day from Commissioner Chavez, and then special resolutions recognizing Stage Center and Zalian Livingston that are from Commissioner Burrell.
Motion to expand agenda and accept all 3.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Chavez to expand the agenda and accept all 3, and that was seconded by Commissioner Epperson. Do we need to open the floor for public comment?
You do need to open the floor for a public hearing on these items.
Okay, I'd now like to open the floor for a public hearing on the 3 proposed agenda additions. Those are a special resolution proclaiming Roy's Kids Day, a potential agenda, a special resolution Stage Center, and a special resolution Zion Livingston. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak either for or against expanding the agenda to accept these these special resolutions? If so, please come forward. Seeing no one, the public hearing is now closed. We can now vote on expanding the agenda and adding these 3 items.
Mr. Clerk, we're using the little pad.
Yes, please, vote on your tablets.
Old habits are hard to break. I kept
I
trying.
know, right? Especially after the holidays. Mr. Jackson, did you get, okay, it connected. All right, and that motion carries with 9 in support, none in opposition. So those items will be added to the end of your new business section.
And Mr. Clerk, I would like to note that Commissioner Stormy Gage Watson, Commissioner Jackson have joined the horseshoe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and we have included them today. That brings us to citizens' comments, and citizens who wish to address the commission on any issue other than zoning are asked to fill out a comment card located in the chamber foyer and return it to myself or the president. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. If you have not yet submitted a card and would like to, there's a box to my left here where those comments can be submitted. We have received multiple requests to speak already, and those have been submitted to the president.
Okay. Let's see. The first one on the list here is Mr. Joseph Cason, is it? I can't quite make out the last name. Hello, sir. Cason, please come to the podium and state your name and tell us what's on your mind.
Joseph Cason.
And go ahead. The floor is yours, Mr. Cason.
Oh, we're here for Wascom Road, Greenwood, Louisiana. The situation that just happened on December the 30th, this past Friday, this fiasco that either a permit allowed or a non-permit allowed, with Caddo Parish Sheriff's Department involved. In order to get to our street, you have to go into Wascom, Texas. State Line Road is the only access to our little community, and this is part of it. This began back in the spring of last year, unbeknownst to me. Trail ride party began 2 doors over from me. I live midway of Wascom Road. It's 1.8 miles long. So 2 doors over, there was a big party. Didn't think much about it, a lot of noise, a lot of cussing, so forth. That passed. This same couple had another one on July the 4th. The neighbors on each side blocked their property off. On December the 17th, it happened again. The four-wheelers running up and down the highway, down the street, public road, damaged my property. I own 3 5-acre lots. I'm a major property holder. I pay my taxes. I'm law-abiding. But if something's not done, that's about to change. I'm not making a threat, but I will protect me, my family, my property, and my 94-year-old mother-in-law. On December the 18th, I went to these people after cooling off, unarmed, discussed the situation, told them about the damages. They offered to repair them. I said, no need. It's not ruts, it's tracks. I thought this was nipped in the bud because I told them I would not allow one more time. Very peaceful, very orderly. While I was there, Mr. Ben Choice came up. He owns a big plot of land at the end of Wascom Road. It's one way in, one way out. He has a horse track down there that the guys have been riding for 12 years. I've been there. They're peaceful going in, peaceful coming out. No trash, no garbage. On December the 30th, everything changed like a snap your finger. All of a sudden, our 1.8 mile road began with heavy traffic. I did not call the sheriff's department until 9/11. At this point, I'm 1 mile from the end of the road, the dead end horse track where the party's at. It's bumper to bumper. Bumper to bumper. 5,280 feet, bumper to bumper, allowing 25 feet for a vehicle. That's 211.2 automobiles. They shut Wascom Road down about 9:30. So a 2-mile road, you're looking at excess of 400 vehicles. Cars were not allowed on site, trucks only. I don't know how many trucks were in there. Multiple people to a vehicle. Verbally telling us they will park where they want. Sheriff's Department told me at 9/11, Deputy Black, exactly 9/11. I have a deputy on site, this is under control. I said, no, it's not under control. I assure you it's under control. Through the night, this continued. When they backed on my property and caused some minor ruts, don't want them to fix it. I want them off my property. It's like I told this couple 2 weeks before. They're not my guests. Get them off my property. That in Louisiana is criminal trespassing. And y'all know that. So we deal with this fiasco till 4 o'clock in the morning. There's over 1,000 people that can't get in. I've furnished Mr. Epperson the paperwork. You all have a copy. If something's not done, this is coming to your neighborhood, and your neighborhood, and your neighborhood. These people are dangerous. There will people come from Dallas and Houston, Texas, to this trail ride barbecue or birthday. You're not gonna trail ride. I saw 2 horses. They came from 10865 Wascom Road. These are the people that brought it to our neighborhood. You got people, I got a 94.5-year-old mother-in-law. I'll go to jail. Believe me, I will go to jail. I know what my lawful rights are. My property is my property. Your property is your property. If you're just turning around, turn around. Go on about your business. Don't damage my property. Verbally, I told people to move out from in front of my driveway, and I was told from those people aggressively that they could do what they wanted to do. I've called the Sheriff's Department twice in 12 years. I've been there since October of 2010. We take care of our problems. We're a peaceful neighborhood. You got children. I got a 94-year-old mother-in-law. Suppose these automatic weapons break out. What are we gonna do? We're gonna allow these people to come in and take over our community? I'm not. Mark my words, I will not. This is ridiculous. This looked like trying to get into the state fair. A friend of mine goes to church on the Texas side off of State Line Road. He had 300 vehicles with semi-automatic weapons on his property that they tore up.
Mr. Casey, your time has expired. Would you like to wrap up with any final comments?
Just consider what you've just heard. It is, I'm sorry. If this is allowed to continue, which it was, started in the spring of '22, this has exploded. This one was supposed to have happened at 10865 until I complained. They moved it. I have information, each of you, the 4 people that are involved in it. and they're moving it around.
Your information has been shared.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your input. And just to remind the audience, in this phase, we can only listen, we can't ask questions. So, speaker number 2, Mariah Lofton, is that right? Ms. Lofton, you have 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. I am 15 years old, and this is my point of view of it. It's sad when young adults and adults are disturbing the time we sleep. And what's really bad is when there's police officers out there doing nothing about it. And me and my siblings are terrified in the house. I was looking out my window, and all I could see was loads and loads of people dumping trash out of their cars and running up and down the road, throwing their shoes and shirts in the trees. I could hear them yelling and screaming and their music blaring. We should not be scared in our own homes. Even if there was police officers out there, we should have felt a little bit safer. A home is a place you're supposed to feel safe and comfortable, but that night we felt like we were in danger. They threatened to burn down our house. How would you feel if someone threatened to burn down your house? Wouldn't you be scared in your home? We didn't get no sleep. We didn't even get the chance to pop fireworks. We didn't get to celebrate New Year's like we usually do. I just don't understand how someone can go through someone's neighborhood disturbing them and threatening to hurt them and their family. How could anyone have a heart doing that? I don't really think they would like it if we went in their neighborhood and disturbed them. I just wish I had the answers because me and my siblings were so scared. We didn't want anyone to get hurt. But it hurts me to know that people don't care about other families. I know they would have been so mad if we did the same thing in their neighborhood, which is why I don't understand why they did it to ours. And I want it to stop. I don't want it to happen again, and then someone gets hurt or dies. I don't want to know that someone got hurt or died in my neighborhood. Then they started harassing my grandparents because they wouldn't allow them to park in their yard. And it was really bad when they vandalized the church. No respect for God. How could they do something to a church of all places? We just want this to end. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mariah. Jackson Jeffrey?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
is that on the same subject? I think that's all on that subject. I don't think it is.
Yes, this is a new topic.
Okay, may I have a comment prior to this gentleman
Sure.
coming up?
Sure.
Okay. Fellow commissioners, these are my constituents. They made that aware to me over the holiday weekend, and I had them to come down, and I would like them to give them direction, because it appears sometime that things get out that we aren't doing what we're supposed to do. However, I did explain to them that we've had issues like this on Rice Road, Jefferson Plains Road, and other areas, and there are policies and procedures that are in place. So at this time, I would like to direct them to Mr. Alan Clark. Mr. Alan Clark, we have worked together on the permitting process. If you look behind you, Mr. K, sir, I'd like for you to meet with Mr. Alan Clark out in the foyer, and he will give you what the MPC has relative to this. Also, I would like to direct them, what floor is the sheriff's department on? Seventh floor. I would like a part of your group, Mr. K-son, to go up to the 4th floor. Seventh floor to the sheriff's department, because you have some issues in your correspondence relative to the response from the sheriff's department also. And also, you brought it to my attention that there were possibly some issues that the parish may look at. And Mr. Ward, Ken Ward, Mr. K-son, if you have someone in your group, meet with Mr. Ken Ward and tell him those issues you have concerning that, okay? And I'd like to let you know that this isn't an issue. Wascom Road has not been forgotten. Since I've been on this body, I don't know how many of the people here, I have worked to see and try to get a road cut in, which the railroad wouldn't go the right of way, so you wouldn't have to go into Texas. I thought that was just unconscionable. You have to go into Texas cross the road, then come back into Louisiana. The issues were fire and emergency response, but I got opposition. However, I want to let you all know, once you make these visits and these contacts today, get back with me. I will meet you in your area at some point where we can all sit down and see where we are at a point in time in the future. So at this time, you all may be excused to meet and go under those directions. Sir, do you have a copy that you'd like to share with the sheriffs? Because I have an extra copy.
I think you'll lose it.
Sure.
Okay. Would you, Mr. Clerk, would you give them a copy to leave with the sheriff's department? So send someone up 7th floor with the sheriff with your complaints, get with Mr. Clark, and get with Mr. Ken Ward with Public Works Director. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Commissioner Epson. Stormy Gage Watts, did you have an issue you'd like to address?
Yeah, Mr. Ken, I just wanted to make this comment to your constituents about the Ring doorbell. Do any of the neighbors have the Ring doorbell?
Ms. Watts, would you let me deal with them on that after?
Okay.
Okay, and I'll make sure they get that information. Matter of fact, I'll get it to them tonight. You let me know what you want.
Yeah.
I'll have contact.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watson. Thank you, Commissioner Epperson, for injecting that helpful information. And sorry, Mr. Jeffrey, thank you for your patience. The floor is yours. You have 3 minutes.
All right. I'm Jeffrey Dwayne Jackson, the Godhead of the Holy See. This is the Omega, and in the Times Square time in Omega, there's in the Book of Daniel, there's according to the miracle flag, there's an ancient home that 2 commissioned officers supposed to escort me to be back in the military. Me and President Biden was in the military together, and I got certified documents from the federal court that's immediate attention tender, and my ID, and the address is at 1141 McDaniel here in Shreveport on the north, and I need 2 officers, 2 commissioned officers.
Dr. Wilson, do you have anyone to direct this gentleman to?
I need 2 commissioned officers. I can't approach the house according to the law. I can't approach the home without 2 officers, according to the Book of Daniel and the flag, and I got certified documents received.
So what we could do to dive in the right direction. Now, obviously, it sounds like we need an SPD involved in this situation.
Okay.
Unless someone has something different.
Yeah, maybe, are you sure you don't need a commissioned officer from the sheriff's department to escort you to the destination?
Two for the sheriff's office.
Commissioned officers, maybe that's what you're seeking. I don't think anyone up here can help you, sir.
So this is the government plaza that once belonged to me. I'm Father Abraham. You know, I got family threats, and I have to protect my family, and I pray every day. I know they understand about the storms and things that's going on.
I understand. I don't think we can help you though, sir.
There's 2 officers that can only escort me to. I train the dogs in the house. I can get the dog to give you a phone call. And I was in the military in the beginning. This is the end, the Alpha and the Omega. In the Holy See, I wrote the Bible. Mm-hmm. We understand terror threats. I understand you know. I don't run from them. I pray about them and defend. I just need 2 commissioned officers.
Yeah. Commissioner Atkins, Clay will try to reach some assistance to us.
I can help direct the gentleman if I can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. Thank you. All right, thank you. Hopefully he can be assisted. Mr. Clerk, where are we now?
That brings us to visitors. We have no scheduled visitors today. So if it is okay, we will advance to the reports for today, where we do have an administrative report. You should have a copy of that attached.
Dr. Wilson?
Good afternoon, Commissioners, and happy New Year to everybody. Pray that we all have a blessed year this year. In detention, we have 24 children. 5 belongs to OJJ, and 7 of the 24 are 17-year-olds. And we still have a few at CCC. I think the last time I reported it was at 8. And also on the COVID situation, we have, as of December 29th, we had 4 organizational occurrences of infections with COVID, and 3 from our outside agencies that are report to us. So we have those slight uptick in that activity. But that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Wilson. Do we have a master plan update? Is that necessary today? I'm sorry, someone spoke. I
Yeah,
couldn't
Mr.
hear.
Clark's in the foyer with the audience just ran out a few minutes ago.
Okay, if we may, we'll just put that off till next meeting. Commission remarks.
Okay, that brings us to commission remarks, where we have communiques, reports, and other items related to the work session agenda today.
If you have a remark, please get on the board.
While we're waiting for anybody to put remarks on the board, if I could use this time to just remind you real quickly, we've distributed a little questionnaire in front of you that just allows a chance for you. We have sent an email about this prior, but in case it's easier for you to jot it down by hand, your committee preferences for the year, and those conferences or travel items that come up annually that you know that you are participating in. If you could share those with us on that form, that would help us to prepare in advance for some of those items.
Okay, anyone on the board? Anyone at all? Is my board not working, or is there no one having any comments?
We see no request to speak at this time.
Okay.
So moving forward, that brings us to President's report.
Okay. Well, I will take this opportunity to make a few words, given that this is my last meeting to chair. I just want to thank you all for electing me to serve as your president this year. It's been a pleasure to work with all of you. Of course, we don't always agree on everything, but I think we were largely civil all year. I don't remember any harsh words exchanged, so I appreciate y'all's cooperation and professionalism throughout the course of the year. I'd also like to make a special note of thanks to those of you that served as president before me, who were very helpful and many times with respect to parliamentary activities and other little complexities that would pop up from time to time. And you all were always very graceful, or gracious, I should say, and would just politely remind me we might want to take this path or that path. And I appreciate y'all's assistance and knowledge and grace in those situations. I'd also like to thank the staff for all of their hard work and their coaching and guidance through the year. You all are always so well informed and professional and dedicated to the parish. So thank you all for that. And lastly, I'd like to thank the citizens of District 9 of Caddo Parish for allowing me to serve in this important capacity. So I'm very grateful for their support. So thank you all. I appreciate it. Mr. Clerk?
All right. That brings us to old business, where we have none scheduled today. So we'll move forward to new business. The first item we have under new business today is authorizing the introduction of ordinance number 6299 of 2023 in relation to case number 22-28-P. That's an ordinance to amend volume 2 of the of the Code of Ordinances of the Parish of Caddo as amended, the Caddo Parish Unified Development Code, by amending the zoning of property located east side of Mansfield Road, approximately 2,100 feet south of Keithville Kingston Road in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, from RA Rural Agricultural Zoning District to I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. This item is in District 11.
Move to advance.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Lazarus, a second from Commissioner Hopkins to advance. Would you like to comment, Commissioner Lazarus?
This is going to be a truck parking lot. It's not any other heavy industrial activity. I don't have any complaints from the residents so far, so.
Well, we certainly need some truck parking lots in our community, so thank you for that. All right, any other comments, anyone on the board?
Yeah, that was second by Stormy
Oh,
Watts.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, it's on the board.
If if we could correct the records to point out that Stormy Gage Watts seconded it. All right, any other comments? All right, let's vote, please.
All right, and that motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. That brings us to the next item, authorizing the introduction of ordinance number 6300 of 2023. That's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues for the American Rescue Plan Fund to provide an appropriation for Ring Doorbell Program in Caddo Parish and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Move to advance.
It was moved. by me.
Oh.
You can second on.
Oh, I have to hit the button.
There you go.
Okay.
A motion by Stormy Gage Watts to advance, a second by Commissioner Burrell.
Yes.
All right, Commissioner Gage Watts, would you like to comment?
Absolutely. Commissioners, this is to expand the services that we've already provided for our citizens in Caddo Parish. Each one of us know the importance of having video recordings for our neighbors to remain safer, as well as to give them the perception of safety. This is the Ring Doorbell that works in conjunction with the City of Shreveport Real-Time Crime Center to help solve crime. So I ask for your support in passing this forward. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else on the board? Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Hopkins?
Yeah, my question, I know we did a first round
Mhm.
before. Do we have any information on, has this helped? Do we have arrests that were made from these doorbells and things like that?
Yes,
Commissioner?
and we are, I'm going to yield to Mrs. Bryant for the data that we've been waiting on, but I want to touch on a situation in District 4 that helped quickly solve a crime because of the Ring Doorbell cameras when the young child life was suddenly taken. So we know that it works. We know that it's used over every capacity, even weather alerts, and to alert you that someone is going around opening car doors in your area. So we know that the system works, but as I said, I'll yield to her about that data.
Commissioner Hopkins, it was a requirement that each of the doorbells that we install had to register with the Real-Time Crime Center. So every doorbell
Ms.
can.
Bryant, can you talk into your, we can't hear you.
Yes, sir. It's this shield. Every doorbell was required to be registered with the Real-Time Crime Center. So if necessary, they can access the data. We've requested data as to whether or not the ones that we've installed have actually produced any results, and they're working to provide that data. But the police has communicated that the advantages of having the Ring doorbells. So the more citizens that have them, the more advantageous it is as an investigation tool when they do have a crime.
Okay, and then my second part, I know there were quite a few people in line to try to get one of these. Do we know the number?
From the first round, we were able to select 400 persons. I think we've installed 250 of those. There were some issues with the subscription service and that type, and we are now in the process of installing the last group. So we should have them all installed here soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner, did I see you on here? Commissioner Paul? Okay, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. I couldn't really hear Erica. It sounded like she's in a phone booth. But maybe because this will sit over for 2 weeks. You said something about data. Can you furnish the data for us before the next meeting so we can see?
So I said the data itself from the Real-Time Crime Center, I don't know yet if any of the doorbells that we've installed have actually been accessed. They only access if necessary. This is not an ongoing monitoring tool. They wanted to assure people that they would not be just randomly accessing this information. It's only in the case if there is a situation in that area, that they would ask for access. So we don't have data yet as to whether or not one of the doorbells we installed have actually been used to address an investigation during a crime. But they have said that the doorbells are very instrumental when they are investigating crime, if they can get information from doorbell cameras.
Do we have the means to get like a heat map to show the distribution of where all these cameras have been placed?
Yes, the ones that we've installed, we have addresses and locations for all the ones that were installed by the parent.
And then on this funding, are there still ARPA funds available for this program?
It's a reallocation.
This would have to be this is a reallocation
of
from
existing funds.
existing funds. It would have to be.
So ARPA funds that have not yet been allocated, is that what you're saying, or?
Reallocation.
No, you've all appropriated or recommended allocations for all the ARPA dollars. In this case, this will be something whereby if there are ARPA dollars available after we vetted all the programs, that we can allocate another $200,000. Or if there's interest earnings.
So I think, it would be dollars that, we allocated something that then was found to be not allowable, and then there'd be excess dollars available for allocation.
Okay. Will it pass the legal test, because it does say the ARPA funds in the title? Are we going to have to amend this before it comes back to us in 2 weeks?
So the overall purpose meets the guidelines, but it's whether or not the data. We have to get crime statistics from the city of Shreveport to show that there was an increase in crime during that period in order to be able to verify that the doorbells were warranted. We have requested that data, but that's just overall crime statistics. We have requested that data from the city of Shreveport.
Okay. And I'm not against this. I think this is a great thing, Commissioner. I just want to make sure, A, we have the money, and B, I'd like to see some data so that we can see how good we're doing. Thank you, President.
Absolutely. And if I could, Mr. President, I just wanted to add to make sure that the citizens know that we do not have this program to breach your privacy in any kind of way. That's why it is optional for you to apply for the Ring Doorbell grant, and it is optional if you decide that you do not want to allow access to the real-time crime center. However, if you don't, then you cannot get the device. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Burrell. You're done, Commissioner Chavez, is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
Commissioner Burrell.
My original question was to ask how we're going to differentiate between those that the parish implemented and those that were not. But I understand you said by address, I assume. Since it's all going back into the same center, then I wasn't sure how you're going to differentiate between them. But if you're going to do it by address, then that's fine. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to make sure that, because what I'm hearing about the funding availability, kind of want to make sure that I'm okay with where we are. Are there dollars here to do this? And what I heard you say was, if there's a project that somehow doesn't make it through the vetting, then this automatically kicks in? Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, it would have to be from available funds if you all approve that, and right now,
Because
go ahead.
there may be some projects out there that may need to go through some additional processes. I think we got, 6 years to spend those dollars? And so folks may want to repurpose their program to meet the requirements. So I don't want us to say, okay, we got 3 projects, and of those 3 projects, one doesn't make it, and so what was funded with that 3rd project, or that one project that doesn't make it, we automatically, because there may be an opportunity.
We're not.
Is that not what am
No,
I
that's
hearing it
what-
wrong?
so-
Or am I
no.
understanding wrong?
No, we would bring that back to the ARPA committee, but what you have some interest dollars, you also have some projects that have.
So
just
these
say-
are these would be unobligated?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I'm looking for, is to make sure that these are unobligated dollars. Okay, so, yes, these are unobligated?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
That it, Commissioner Jackson?
That's it.
All right. Seeing no one else on the board, let's vote to, we'd be voting to forward this for final consideration.
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. And that brings us to our next item, which is authorizing resolution number 1 of 2022. That's a resolution, and I'm sorry, the description looks like it didn't make it on the agenda. This is the resolution to approve the annual budget of the 2023 North Louisiana Crime Lab, which is attached, and I apologize that the description is not on there. We'll amend that.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chair.
We have a motion from Commissioner Burrell to approve. Was there,
Second by John.
or to advance, pardon me, to advance. Second by John Paul Young. Any questions here? Looks like the crime lab's budget continues to be tight. All right, seeing no questions or no one on the board, let's vote to advance or not to advance.
That motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to the next item, which is authorizing a special resolution of recognition for Dr. James Hobley.
So moved Thursday?
Second.
We have a motion to advance from Commissioner Chavez, a second from Commissioner Burrell. Commissioner Chavez, would you like to speak on your motion?
I think you're still writing it, right?
Correct.
Dr. Hobley was recognized as one of the nation's top GI specialists. It's a pretty prestigious award, and I'd like us to honor our citizens that achieve awards like that. I know Mr. Everson is still writing it, but we'll have it. He may not be able to come this Thursday. If not, we'll prolong it to the following Thursday. But I would appreciate your support celebrating one of our own. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Chavez. All right, seeing no one on the board, let's vote on whether to advance this to Thursday.
All right, and that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. The next item on your agenda is authorizing the appointment to the Shreve Memorial Library Board. This would be appointing Deborah Yarborough to fill the expired term of the seat previously held by Neil Johnson, which expired just the other day on 12/31.
Motion to move.
Yeah, we're back, Mr. Clerk.
I'm
please
so
skip-
sorry, I did.
Yeah.
I skipped an item. I apologize.
An important item.
I was reading my note about the agenda expansion, and it unfortunately covered up the next agenda item. My apologies. 11.5 is the item that we are on right now, and that is authorizing the administration to use the reserve trust fund allocations to assist victims of Pecan Place and the Keithville area tornadoes.
Move to advance.
A second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Lazarus, a second from Commissioner Stormy Gage Watts to advance. Commissioner Lazarus, any comments?
I'm sure you all know, a couple weeks before Christmas, we had a tornado in my area. And this is just to help those folks. I ask for your support. Thank you.
Dr. Wilson, do you have any data to share with us on that? Like how many houses were lost and?
I think it was 12 totally destroyed, 54 damage.
Yeah, so 12 homes were totally destroyed, 50 some odd total damage.
Yes.
And of course, the loss of two citizens. So this is a very important issue. And what level of funding is available, Dr. Wilson?
$350,000.
Thank you. Okay. Any other questions on this? Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. What's the process we're gonna go through in administering this money?
We deal with the Red Cross to determine the need, and then probably based on a number of allocated funds per house. Like we have done in other situations, we have a limit, what that is per citizen, as opposed to all citizens using all the money. We'll have a certain amount of money limit per endeavor.
Okay, I want us to make sure that we
With a
are
roof,
consistent with what we done in the past.
Yes, sir. It'll be consistent with what we've done in the past with minor damages, roof repair, whatever, to make the house livable again, where possible. Totally
And-
destroyed houses probably wouldn't benefit from this program because there's not enough money.
Right, and so the ones that are moderately damaged.
Minor type moderately
Yeah.
damage, yes.
Yeah, those are the ones that will absorb some of this money. So
Yes,
is this
sir.
coming from the natural disaster fund?
Yes,
Okay, so
That's
I think
correct.
that needs to be changed instead of reserve trust.
yes.
No,
Okay.
it's the reserve
Reserve
trust
trust
fund
fund.
with a emergency disaster line item within the reserve trust fund.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner
So,
Jackson?
I do have one other thing. I know on the other ones, we had CCAA as the group that was gonna be like scrutinizing and making sure that, the money was spent right. What organization would do it this time?
We would have to find one. We would have to find an organization that would do that for us
Okay,
and manage the program. And we have some options on that.
all right. Thank you, I'm done.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Jackson?
Yes, because I was going to ask a little bit if we could get a little bit more specificity on what assistance is being provided.
We would have to, we're thinking, we deal with the Red Cross to validate the damage, to extent the damage, and then probably do an assessment on what will be needed. And, I mean, far back as 2015, when we did Wells Island area, was in your district, Commissioner. They just needed some assistance with opening up walls and letting it dry out. So we pay for electrical and some minor drywall replacement. It just depends on the situation.
Okay. And are we, does the assistance go for homes that can be moved? Do we do that? Because usually,
Homes that could be moved?
like trailer homes, manufactured homes, do they qualify?
I think it depends on what the axe is. I'm not sure that if they're all mobile home units or whether they are regular on slab type units.
Because what I have learned is usually federal benefits doesn't go toward mobile homes because you can take it and move and stuff like that. So I'd hate for us to use parish dollars on property that can be moved somewhere else eventually at some point.
Yeah, I would say if, in most cases, the people own the land, they would probably want to stay on the land.
Okay.
Just want to make the house livable again.
Okay. And then my last one was on the, I think you talked about the organization. I heard you say Red Cross, but then I heard somebody say
Red Cross
CCA.
validate the damage, and we can use Christian Charity or some other organization that could administer the program for us. Or some other.
But CCA is not going to do it, is what you say, is what I'm hearing you saying, CCA not going to do it?
Well, the last time we used them,
Okay.
they say it was a lot of administrative burden for them.
Okay.
So.
And are we going to submit this for reimbursement for FEMA, to be reimbursed for FEMA? Or we, do we?
Yes,
do
sir.
that?
Yes, sir. If we have applicable opportunity to do that, yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Good questions, Commissioner Jackson. Thank you. Commissioner Gage Watts?
Thank you, Mr. President. Most of the questions have been addressed. I just had an additional question to those. I know that we are referencing the prior tornado that happened in December, but I know that last night there were some homes that were flooded and even lost to fire damage. Would these also be included?
I guess we could amend what's being proposed to include that.
Okay. Because I'm not sure what the numbers are yet, but I do know of one that was personally lost on last night, flood and fire damage in your area.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner Gage Watts.
Mr. President, do I need to make an amendment and get back on the board to add that, or? You would have done that on Thursday. Okay. Thank you, Attorney Frazier.
You good? Okay.
Thank you.
Commissioner Hopkins?
Is any of this money available for temporary housing and stuff? Or is it just for repairing the homes?
I think this is going to be for repair. And it's my understanding that the 12 units that were destroyed, they had other places to live already.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's just some other needs that we're not aware of.
All right, I hadn't heard anything said about that.
But we were told that people had places to stay.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And then also, I think Homeland Security was getting involved too with it, with some temporary housing units.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Hopkins. Commissioner, I'm gonna take Commissioner Epperson first. Commissioner Epperson?
John was before me, but.
Well, all right, John Paul, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to make a substitute motion to englobo and advance items 11.5, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8, 11.9, and the 3 agenda additions.
Mr. Chairman, in that case, then, I'd like to speak.
Go ahead, let's, I'll use a little presidential privilege and defer back to
All right,
Commissioner
well, I didn't know
Epperson.
you were gonna make the motion.
I know you
global,
did.
But I thought we would speak in reference to what we were talking about. So, we're going to include, we say a house that was damaged by fire?
Yes, I would say Caddo citizens.
Pardon?
Caddo. All-
Caddo citizens, all
yes,
citizens that have
right.
issues? Okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's it, Commissioner Epperson?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Commissioner John Paul Young.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to englobo and advance items 11.5, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8, 11.9, and the 3 agenda additions.
Second.
We have a motion to englobo and advance items. Read this for me again, Commissioner, please.
11.5, 11.6, 11.7, 11.8, 11.9, and the 3 agenda additions.
Thank you, and it was seconded by Commissioner Lazarus. Would you like to comment on your proposed motion? Okay, Commissioner Jackson.
Yeah, I'd like to amend that motion to remove 11.7 and 11.9 at this time.
Second.
All right, we had a motion from Commissioner Jackson to a substitute motion to, or is it substitute motion? Is that to
Amend the motion.
amend Commissioner John Paul Young's motion by removing 11.7, pardon me, yeah, 11.7
And 11.9.
and 11.9.
Okay. Second by Burrell.
Seconded by Burrell. Commissioner Jackson, would you like to comment?
I'll be, at the appropriate time, I'll be removing 11.9 from the agenda.
At the appropriate time, you'll be removing
So when we
11.
finish, I'll take it off the agenda.
Yeah, you want to remove 11.7 and 11.9
From the global.
from the englobo.
And then at the appropriate time, I will remove 9
Okay.
altogether.
That's fine. All right, we have Commissioner Jackson's motion on the table. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, let's vote on Commissioner Jackson's amended items.
Commissioner Lazarus? Okay. All right, that motion carries with 11 in support, none in opposition. So that advances items 11.5, 11.6, 11.8, and then the 3 agenda additions. And that brings us to the next item on the agenda, which would be 11.7, authorizing the appointment to the Industrial Development Board.
I'd like to make a motion to advance.
Second.
So the chair makes the motion and Commissioner John Paul Young seconded that motion. You all saw that there was or the clerk notified me that there'd be a space
Resignation.
opening up on the Industrial Development Board, and I was just thought that John Lork would be a nice addition to that board. He's a real estate professional, very active in Southeast Shreveport real estate, both commercial and residential. Has a good business background, is very active on the Shreveport the Caddo Parish Fire District 5 board, and has been for many years. So I'd like to ask you all to please support me in considering John Lork for the Industrial Development Board. Commissioner Johnson.
Yes, I was just gonna say, did he send it out to all the commissioners or just to you?
I don't know.
Cause I didn't see it.
I didn't either.
Mr. Clerk?
I can double check. I believe I sent it to all commissioners, but I can double check that. One moment.
Okay, while he's checking on that, Commissioner, well, is it all right if I take Commissioner Burrell's question, we come back to this, Commissioner Johnson?
That's fine.
Okay, Commissioner Burrell.
Just a point of inquiry, Mr. President. I've noticed these appointments come up, and I don't hardly ever, unless I'm missing something, I don't get them.
Well, you know, sometimes they come, sometimes they are sent out to all of us. Sometimes the commissioner will just look and see what, you know, where openings or exist or are occurring.
Should they all, even if that be the case, shouldn't they all still go out?
Yeah,
to
it would be,
just in case.
I think
there's-
it'd be a good practice for us always to distribute those broadly.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. And I'd accept a motion to propose that during, next week or something.
Well, since he's still trying to find it, evidently it didn't come to everybody, because I saw the look everybody's face that when it came up. I would either like to say that we would either table this and let each commissioner figure out who they might want to nominate, or we just don't pass it today.
Well, I think that's fair. If we want to wait till the clerk gets back, someone can make a substitute motion to do so.
I'd like to make a substitute motion to, I'm sorry, my apologies, I yield to whoever.
Commissioner Jackson.
Call for the question.
Second.
I have
Called for the question to vote on this matter?
Yes.
All right.
The clerk has his response.
I did have the answer if y'all would like that. So actually the news of the resignation was sent initially from Ms. Moore directly to Kyle McInnes, who's the chair of the Industrial Development Board, as well as the counsel for the Industrial Development Board. And he copied Commissioner Gage Watts on that initially, and then the president of the Industrial Development Board then forwarded that to Commissioner Atkins and myself.
Okay.
And I didn't get it.
What's that?
I did not get it.
Yes, you may have, it looks like it may have gone to a personal address. But I can't verify that, but I can later. But anyway, it did pull up the traffic on it.
As you're aware, they
Point
don't
of
have
order,
some
Mr.
issues with
President.
it, so, yeah.
Commissioner.
Question has been
Commissioner
called
Jackson.
and properly seconded.
Pardon me, I can't hear you.
The question has been called and properly seconded.
Okay, so the question is the agenda item?
To either vote it up or down at this
Okay.
point.
All right, so the question has been called regarding the appointment of advancing, the motion to advance John Lorick to Thursday for consideration by the full body. All right, y'all ready to vote?
Okay, and that motion advances with 7 in favor, 4 in opposition, and 1 abstaining.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Where are we now?
That brings us to 11.9.
that
Oh,
was
I'm
a
sorry,
call
was
for the
that,
question.
and I apologize, I was out of the room when it was stated the question had been called and said.
I see,
I thought that
I'm
was
with
the
you.
vote. Okay, I'm sorry,
Yeah, I thought that
so
was the-
7 is not 2/3, which is required on.
And mine should have been yes for calling for the question.
Okay, so with 8, that would call for the question, so we do have a call for.
That'd have been 9.
Okay, so
Okay.
it looks like, let the record reflect that Commissioners Gage, Watts, Burrell, and Johnson voted in the affirmative to call for the question. So we now, so that means that call for the question is adopted, and so now we face the question, and you will now be voting on whether to advance this item, the authorizing the appointment to the Industrial Development Board of Mr. John Lorick.
Well, we're just voting on whether to forward it to Thursday for
To
consideration.
advance it, correct.
Okay, we all on board now? We all square? Sorry. All right, let's vote.
Okay, that motion does not advance. It has 4 in support and 7 in opposition with 1 absent.
Okay, just to be clear, if this item comes back up, this name can be resubmitted with others for consideration, is that correct, Ms. Frazier?
That is correct.
Okay. Thank you, just so I can inform the
And
potential.
our apologies, by the way, your votes should be showing on these public display screens here today, but there is evidently some sort of a problem. It's actually not with our new software, it's just with the hardlined equipment in displaying these votes. I did want to just for the record say if anyone does need a copy of these, we do have these captured and we can share them. So I'm sorry they're not showing on these screens, but we certainly can share them with you. Okay, that brings us now to 11.9, which is to authorize
Motion to
commission
remove.
travel.
Motion to remove from the agenda.
We have a motion from Commissioner Jackson to remove 11.9, a second from Commissioner Burrell. Any comment, Commissioner Jackson? Okay, let's vote, please.
We removing these, right?
All right, that motion carries with 11 in support and none in opposition. That brings us to communiques and committee reports. And under this, we do have a quick clerk's note, just reminding you that during your next meeting, you will select your new officers. New president, vice president, and parliamentarian will be selected. This happens after the agenda addition portion of your meeting. And so the meeting will be opened by your current officers, and then you'll make that selection and change seats at that point.
All right. Communiques and committee reports. Please get on the board if you have a issue to discuss. Commissioner Epperson.
Yes, sir. I'd like to ask Mr. Clark a question, please.
Mr. Clark?
While he's on the way up, I want to ask, does the permitting process that we had in place for the trail ride, I think we had an issue that came up on Jefferson Page Road earlier last year. Does it apply now to the PPZ board? Do we have to adopt differently?
It's my understanding that it does apply. The persons that came in today, that area is not in the planning limits, so there's nothing we can do in reference to them.
So would it be in order that we would enact legislation under the Parish Planning and Zoning Board where those people will be covered too with those concerns?
You have the authority, and you'd have to get with the attorneys on how you expand the current planning limits. But currently, the planning limits that are in place that we are contracted to serve, this is not included in it.
Okay, Ms. Fraser, can you give me an answer on that? Is there anything that we can do that the same requirements that are under the metropolitan planning deal governing the trail rides could be enacted in the rural planning
Commissioner,
board?
I would have to look, but it would not be the rural planning board because
Ma'am?
I would have to look because it would not be the, I don't think it would be there's no planning by either board where he's talking about.
Right.
So it would be a different process that we would have to look and see if it would have the same effect. So
Okay,
I
could-
would have to look and review that to
Okay,
see.
would you research that for me and let me know, please, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to say two things. First, to our administration, it sounds like our noise ordinance was being violated on Wascom Road. Isn't that a parish-wide ordinance?
Yes, sir.
So we could enforce the noise ordinance against parties that violate it on Wascom Road. And there may be other similar ordinances that could be enforced there. Sounds like we could do something to document the trespass and help the sheriff enforce rules about that. That's all on that point. And the second thing I wanted to say is just to my colleagues that I'm planning to offer to serve as vice president in the upcoming year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have about it, and I hope to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Young. Commissioner Johnson.
I just wanted to say that the appointment that I had for the Lakeview Water Board, Ms. Tiffany Hyde, she's here. Kind of skipped over it in Globo, but I just wanted to make sure that everybody know that she was here today.
Okay, thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Johnson. And welcome, Ms. Hyde. All right, Commissioner Burrell, you're up.
Well, since John Paul has asked for support, I normally would just send out an email to try to call everybody, but I'd like to ask for their support for the presidency for 2023.
speech.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Not at this point.
Burrell. Commissioner Hopkins.
I don't know where Tim and Ken went, but I just wanted to thank Public Works for all the hard work they did over the holiday season. Between the tornado down south and the water problems all over the parish, we thank you for all the hard work you guys did. That's it.
Thank you for raising that issue, Commissioner Hopkins. I'm remiss in not mentioning that. I know that the Public Works guys are working hard throughout that whole period, interfaced with them on a number of things, so I appreciate you pointing that out. And I apologize, Dr. Ward and Mr. Weaver, for not raising that issue earlier. Dr. Wilson.
Yes, sir. I concur that the Public Works guys did men and women did a yeoman's job in responding to the storm, as well as other related matters due to the weather conditions. I also want to let you all know that Mr. Jimmy Whittington has elected to retire. I know he dealt with a lot of us individually around this room, and so just want to, I wanted for him to come before us so we can give him a good send-off, but Jimmy's a little emotional about the issue, and I can understand that. So certainly he's done a great job for us with respect to our right-of-way agent, and also taking care of adjudicated matters for the parish of Caddo. So just want to say, well done, Jimmy, if you're looking at the meeting today. We really appreciate your years of service for the parish of Caddo.
Thank you for recognizing Mr. Whittington on that. Okay. Seeing no one-
Oh, I was on the board.
Commissioner Gage, what, you were on the board, but you dropped off, but go ahead.
I don't know who did it.
Go
I didn't
ahead.
take myself off, but here I am. So since everyone else was asking for support about the different offices, I'm also asking for support for parliamentarian. Thank you.
The loop.
Yes.
Coming back around.
Uh-huh.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Thank you all. I'll accept a motion to adjourn. Are we done?
So moved.
All
Let's
right.
adjourn.
Just as a note, and no need to change your motion, we do not have any requests for late period public comments.
Okay.
Just that's for me more than y'all.
Thank you. All right. Thank you, everyone.